If you're like me, you have some TD Ameritrade accounts that are going to move over to Charles Schwab very soon. In this video, I'm going to go over the Accounts tab and the home screen. So let's get comfy. Hey, what's going on? This is Maui Voti with financiallypresent.com, your one-stop shop for financial and investment education. And today, we're just going to go over some of charlesschwab.com or schwab.com and get familiar with the home page and the accounts page. So let's dive in. All right, so we're at the home page of my Schwab account, and you'll see they have some main tabs up top: accounts, trade, research, move money, products, learn, and how to. For today, we're just going to focus on the accounts tab. This is more of the home page, and then some of these sub tabs that I like to call them, and I'll be brief. The summary tab is going to list all of your accounts. So when all of the 11 accounts we have are going to migrate over, they're going to be listed here, and then we can actually add any non-Schwab accounts here. So it allows us to have somewhat of a comprehensive picture. So I think that's a great idea. Kind of a portfolio management style feature. So that's great. A position, so we're talking cash, money market, stocks, any other investments, they're all going to be listed here. I'm interested to see how they're going to be listed. And then at the very bottom, you have where you can enter in a quote or look up a stock symbol or investment symbol. Very standard. And it looks like you'll have to, if you want to use the banner down here, where it gives you the Dow Jones, the NASDAQ, the S&P, and the Russell 2000, which I think is a great addition right there. You just have to hit refresh. All right. Some other great features I like to see are the quick links here. Order status, track any of your orders that are on the go. Proxy events, so when we're talking about voting rights, as you own shares, you're able to vote on things like board of directors, or if there's going to be a dividend or not, or specific events, you can vote on them through this area. And live events, so webcasts, recordings, those are all going to be located here, at least on the quick links. For balances, pretty straightforward. You can look at the summed up total of all of the accounts, or you'd be able to look at all the individual accounts by themselves. Positions, that's going to be all of your investment positions. And then similar to how you would do for balances, you'll be able to break it down by accounts. Investment income, I like looking at this feature. So now you can see how much money specific accounts are making in accordance to dividend or interest payments if you hold things like bonds, CDs, and things of that nature. For portfolio performance, I think this is also a pretty cool feature as well. So once we start having some data, it's going to be a lot of fun to have. So the value of the account versus what you've actually put in, that's going to be the net contributions. Then the rate of return. As we know, the rate of return is extremely important. Think about the rule of 72. You take 72 divided by the rate of return, and it helps you understand how quickly your money will double. If you can have consistent returns, then you can predict a specific time for your money to double. So that's a great tool to use or to help with to see if you're on track. Asset allocation. So it's just going to show you how well you're invested across different areas and different spaces. Can't wait to get some data in here for that. Corporate actions. So this is tied to the proxy quick link that you saw on the homepage. So when you have these events coming up, like the voting is due by a certain time, it's going to be listed here for all the shareholder corporate actions that you'll need to take care of. Securities lending. This is an extremely cool feature. I don't know if other brokerages are doing something like this, but it's a great way for Schwab to make money and then share money with the investors or account owners on their platform. So if you're familiar with margin trading or margin loans or borrowing, basically when you open up a brokerage account, you are agreeing to allow them to lend out your shares. And this is for specific accounts, usually like individual accounts, joint accounts, trust accounts. You generally are agreeing to this, that they are allowed to loan out your shares to people who want to short. and trade those shares. It doesn't necessarily change much for you because you're still on the books for the owner of the stock, but someone who wants to borrow it, they are paying interest, and the interest is going to the company that you're doing business with. So that could have been TD Ameritrade, it could have been E-Trade, and so on and so forth. But it says here at Schwab, you have an opportunity to opt in to benefit from that. And we call it hypothecation, where they are loaning out your shares for the sake of margin and profit and things like that. But with their SLFP program, or Securities Lending Fully Paid program, they're just saying that you have stock and investments in your account, and you may have an account like an IRA that's not eligible for margin, right? Or custodial accounts. Those aren't eligible for margin either. And there are a few other types. But because they're not eligible for margin, they have found a way to say, hey, if you are willing to opt into this, we will actually pay you for allowing us, Charles Schwab, to loan out your shares to people who want to short. Because there are some shares that are hard to borrow, and people who short stock, they want to be able to borrow in order to complete those transactions. So you can actually opt into this if you have an account or a number of accounts that help meet a household value of $100,000. So it's an equity requirement, basically. So if you have a group of accounts and they total over $100,000, you can actually opt into this. All right, and so meaning if you have an IRA account and an individual account and a joint account, they total over $100,000. Your IRA account doesn't necessarily allow you to have margin, but through this program you can opt in. And if you have hard to borrow stocks, then Schwab will help you or allow you to have some of the proceeds, basically. So that's a cool feature. I'm interested to see how that will look once everything moves on over. And I'm sure it'll display the type of income that you get from that. So there are a lot of details here, but feel free to read those. Then history and statements, these are all pretty self-explanatory. They're all necessary. And then lastly, second to lastly, we have open an account. I love it how you can be logged in directly to your account and open up an additional account. There will be no mistake about who's trying to open it or where it needs to be linked to in this situation. Then lastly, relationship summary. All right, so this is where they want to know a little bit about, this is where you're able to dive a little bit deeper into the relationship that Schwab has with you. So things like agreements, disclosures, whether there's a fiduciary relationship, broker-dealer relationship, investment advisory relationship, all of that is broken down here. So this is their way of explaining, hey, this is how we get paid, this is how we are charging you, and this is how we avoid conflicts of interest. So those are all of the major features, and what I also like here at the very top is you can find all your messages here, like as if it's an email inbox, right? And then you can also contact anyone, support. You can use the chat feature, you can talk about the debit cards or checks, refer a friend, and then your profile information. This is where you can add additional features. Look at this is where you can look at the security settings, the contact information, update beneficiaries. That's extremely important in my opinion. Apply for margin or options and change the settings on the accounts, making sure that you have the proper access. This is where you can go paperless. So there are a lot of different features here, and ultimately they'll all be at your fingertips. You can always open up your account early and then get familiar, or you can also just wait for the instructions for when they migrate you from TD Ameritrade to Charles Schwab. Stay tuned for my other videos that are going to break down some of the other areas and features of charleschwab.com. If you like this video, I want you to hit that like button, subscribe if you're new to the page, and until next time, stay present.